Hello everyone, welcome back to our Homeschool Economics course. So we are going to be trading a system together as you guys work through your algorithm and try to figure out what works best for you over time. I'm going to be your learning coach and your tutor helping you through the process. So on this video, I'm just going to actually walk you through helping you get your chart set up like this. Because of course, when you first start with TradingView, you will not have a chart looking like this. It will be a white chart and it will have a volume thing on it like this on your chart. It may look something similar to this, but not, of course, it won't be dark. So I'm going to switch it back to a light. It'll be something like this, but it won't look, of course, it'll be white. So let me help you get your chart set up like ours, okay? First thing you want to do when you get in here, don't worry about it not looking just like this, but if you want to be, kind of similar, you can go and type in a symbol search, just click up here and type in AUD CAD. That way you can say, okay, I'm getting it looking just like mine. And you can verify when I finish this lesson, you can verify, make sure it looks just like mine, okay? So you're going to have to go to Forex. You're going to type in the word AUD CAD, and I'm using Owanda. So just click on the Owanda one, just click it one time, and it'll change your chart to something like this. Again, you will not have the lines and you will not have these things, but you will have this volume indicator at the very bottom of your chart. Now, let's first get it off this bright color. So go over to these three lines here and go down to where it says dark color theme and turn it on. Also, make sure if you want to have your drawing panels, if you want to look like mine, you need to make sure you have your drawing panels highlighted. Okay, so that's it for the first step. Second step is you want to have something. It's not going to be 3 here. It's just going to be something that says vol, VOL. This is the volume indicator. If you click the eye icon, you can hide it. You turn it back on. You can hide it. So what we're going to do is just click the X to remove it. So now it's gone from your chart. You're getting closer. You're getting closer. So now the thing we need to do to make your chart look similar to mine, you're going to go over here to this settings icon. You're going to click on the chart properties and you're going to go down to appearance. Now here we're going to get rid of these vertical grid lines first. So we're going to go to vert grid lines. You're going to click on that and you're going to change the opacity. You're just going to slide it over to 0. Now, if I'm moving too fast, it's just a video that you can pause and rewind. Don't panic. Just stop, pause, and rewind. Okay? So now we have gotten rid of the vertical lines. And then you see these horizontal grid lines here on the chart. We are going to now get rid of them as well. So we're going to click on Hors Grid Lines. And we're going to change the opacity to 0. Boom. Now it's gone. Gone, gone, gone. Now, if your background doesn't look just like mine, maybe your color has changed. I just kept it the same, basically. If you look at the background, it's this black here, and don't even know what color that one is, but it's set on gradient. Okay, not that that's a big deal. Okay, now here I have like my text here is just like gray. I have my crosshair. This is my crosshair. You see that dotted line that's moving up and down when I move my mouse, that's the crosshair. And I also have a watermark here. So you see this AUD CAD, that's how I know what chart I'm on by just looking at it. You can uncheck it to remove it, or you can check it back to remove it. You can also change the color of your watermark. So let's say I want it to be red or some other color like blue. That's cool, right? But I don't want to do that color. Gray is good enough for me. Now, another thing, if you notice that my candles are different colors, I like to set my candle colors in the symbol section. And so you can use this section to set your body and wick and all that kind of stuff. But the cool thing about the indicator that we're using, we can do that within our indicator. So you can leave that alone. Okay. Now, if you notice there's this blue line, dotted line here, it's telling you right as of right now, AD CAD is actually positive for me. It's buying because it's my color of buying on my chart. Now, if I want to get rid of that, I can just uncheck last price line and you'll still see what it's doing over here, the price that it's at and how much time is left, but you won't see that dotted line. But I like that dotted line. It helps me see what I want to see. Now, if we go to, let me see, that was on symbol. Sorry, I just switched without even telling you guys. I think that's pretty much it. Status line. So here are the buy and sell buttons. We do use them on our chart when I'm training you guys. And when you're marking up your chart, you're going to need your buy sell buttons. So go ahead and turn those on. We don't use the volume, as you see here, and we just keep everything else. Keep everything else the same. Okay. Let me think. Scale. I don't think I need to do anything else. Events. Now, some of you guys may have a bunch of dots, a bunch of bubbles on your chart. Let me see if I go to the end. So it's not up here. It's not on this chart. Sometimes you guys have like these news bubble things on your chart, and you want to get rid of those, right? You just go to the settings. You go to uh, events, and you just turn off economic events on the chart, and it'll go away. You have a bunch of circles with different like flag looking things. That's just news, and you can get rid of it on the chart. The way we trade, news doesn't even affect us like that. Let me think. I think that's it. uh, if you see things on my chart, like when we are in positions, if you want to see prices or money, you change it to money. If you want to see how many pips you're in profit, you just change it to pips. Okay. You can have sound notification for execution. So when it hits your TP, it'll make a noise. If it hits your stop loss, it can make a noise. I don't even know. I never really pay attention to that, but I think it does make a noise when you hit your stop loss. And if you want the orders to go in instantly, you can have that ability as well. Okay, so there we go. Now we're getting closer and closer to looking alike. You should have AUD CAD in the background. You may not have this 1D, but you should have that in the background. Now, how do we get this 1D up here? So over here. I'm going to turn off everything, even that. All right. So I don't know. You may be set on 1 hour. I don't know what you have up here. But to change this to daily, because that's the time frame that we trade on, you just click right beside the symbol. You click that and you scroll down until you find 1 day. I like to start at things that I use frequently. So there it is, all right? I don't even know why 1 hour is still there, but I may just want to use 1 day. Let's see, it's still there because I guess it's what I used last. Now, so now we have your chart should look similar to mine's. Okay, I don't know when you're looking at this in time, but this is today's date is March the 7th, 2022. So once we finish, you'll kind of have an idea of what your chart. If you go back to March the 7th, and all you have to do to go back is just grab your chart and just go back in time like this. And as you go back, just be looking down here to see where you are. Right. So right now, this is where the candle is right here in the month of July, right? If I go forward again, right here, I'm in the month of March. And I just follow this line all the way down until you see March the 7th, 2022. All right, so good. Now you should have 1 day AUD CAD. We should be looking very similar. Now, if you don't have the time and everything is not like matching my stuff, if you are doing this, it's 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? If your candles don't look like this, and you wouldn't know that because of daily. But I do want to make sure you have your UTC set. So for me, it's Eastern Standard Time. So I just click up here and I just find, like for me, New York. Depends on where you are in the world, or where you are in the world. That's where you go up here and change your settings. Or if you want to follow a particular session, trading session, you can change to follow that session as well. All right. Now, we're almost there. Really, we are. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start adding some indicators to your chart. All right. So you're going to come up here to this icon right here that says indicators, metrics, and strategies. Now, I'm assuming most of you guys have a free account that you have not upgraded. Okay. If you've upgraded, then you'll have more options. And when you see on my chart, you'll see I have other little things on my chart. That's because I have an upgraded account. Okay. And I will show you guys how to do that as well. But this strategy is pretty decent with just these indicators on the chart. You actually is really good. You can just work with 3 indicators. You just won't have many alerts. You can't have but like one alert maybe. So that's the only thing. It's very limiting to your alerts. I still highly recommend you upgrade. But 3 indicators is good enough for you homeschoolers, okay? So the indicators that we're using, this one on the chart, because on the chart indicator, the one that's sitting on top of my chart is the SSL Hybrid. To add it to your chart, you're going to go over and you're going to go to Indicators, Metrics, and Strategies. Click on that. Type in the letters SSL. Hit the space. Type in Hybrid, just like I'm doing. And you'll see under your community scripts, SSL Hybrid. Now, if you want it to appear in your favorites, you must hit star. Okay? And to put it on your chart, I tell you only click once. Do not double click. Click one time. All right? And it will appear on your chart. So it's SSL Hybrid by this person here. Click once and it'll be on your chart. And it will look like this. So we're almost there. You guys, your chart should look very similar to mine. Okay? Now let's go to the settings. And the settings that we have is I have show the baseline. I have unchecked show SSL1. You can keep it on your chart. If it works for you, that is totally fine. Okay? But I have it unchecked on my chart. We have up here to 14 ATR. Keep that the same. Keep the multi for now as 1. You want to go down to the baseline link, and I keep that as 50. I changed this to an HMA if it's not already there, and I've changed that to a 50. Okay, JMA, the length is 5. The exit, which are those arrows that you don't see on my chart, but the exit arrows are 15. Okay, everything else is the same. As far as style, you can turn off or turn on things. Like if I turn on the exit arrows, they're the exit arrows telling me to get out the trade, at certain points that I can exit my trade. Okay, you can keep them on or you can turn them off. For now, we're just going to turn them off. Okay, and then we have the baseline. And everybody asks me, what is the baseline? The baseline, you see how it disappeared? That's that magic line running through the middle. So if I do this, you can see the baseline. And some of you guys may be confused and like, I don't even know if it's crossed the baseline. You can definitely turn this off and you can still see this channel. And you can say, well, I just want to make sure it crosses the channel for some of you guys that are already trading with me. But that's what it is. That's the baseline. Okay. And under the inputs, you can get rid of the baseline. Of course, I don't recommend that. Or you can show it. Coming further down, we have SSL1, which is not showing anyway. Now here are the colors for the bars. This comes automatically on your chart. When you turn them off, you have your other colors that you may have set. You do this and you turn them back on. Now the bar colors really help you see, for instance, even though this is an actual, so let me turn it off. This is a selling candle. This is a bearish candle. It's actually selling, okay? When you turn the bar color on, you notice that it's blue with that red background. The red background tells you that it is still selling, okay? But it hasn't broken any structure, so it's still in a bullish structure. So in other words, just because it's selling, it's not telling you to sell. It's telling you don't sell or be careful. Wait for confirmation because it's still in a bullish structure, okay? Now this one is selling. And you're going to notice some things about every time it sells and it's ready. The dot will flip to the other side, and then the confirmation will come that it's continuing to sell. All right. All right. So we have the upper channel, which is this line here. Like if I turn it off and turn it off, now we don't have those two lines at the top and the bottom. You can use them if you like. You don't need them. I don't need them. Then we have the SSL2, which are these dots. We use those for continuation to re-enter. You can also use them to trail your trade. And then we have this squiggly line. So let me go here. ATR bands. So you see those things that just disappeared? And I put them back up here. You're going to hear me use the word ATR often. You're going to need your ATR bands on, at least when you get ready to measure and, do your trade, right? When you actually get ready to enter and find your stop loss and take profits, you will need to show your ATR bands, okay? And that's what these right here are. ATR1 is the one that plus is the one at the top. ATR minus is the one at the bottom. Okay, and then you have the plots background. If I turn it off, this will no longer be highlighted. So it's up to you if you want to do that. I do turn off labels on price scale and values in line, so they won't be cluttering up over here, and they won't be really long, like this long values over here, okay? So now I'm done. So I can find this. You should have it already up here. Now I have 2 indicators up here, but it may be really long. By turning off those price scale labels, values and status line, that should help get rid of that. Sometimes you have to refresh your screen, but that should get rid of that. Okay, don't refresh it yet because you have to save it. Now you can click the drop down here, you can click rename, and you can just save it as whatever you want to save it as, okay? I just kept it as Tip Sniper Trend, just because I have tons of charts. Like if I want to load a chart layout, you'll see I have lots of charts, which are all different strategies, right? So I just had to come up with another name. So we are trend traders. This is trend following strategy. So I just kept it trend. Okay. Now, these lines on my chart are lines that I put there. This is how I back test my strategy. Okay. Whoops. All right. Excellent. So I believe we are very, very similar. Now there are different ways, different types of bars and candles. In case you don't have a regular candle in your chart, you have other things, you can turn those other ones off and just have your candles up there. All right. You just click on candles and now if your chart looks like this, for instance, you don't have candles. Okay. If it looks like this, you have a line chart, right? So we want to make sure it looks like mine. I have just candles on my chart. Now we should be in sync with each other, at least on the chart settings. Now we're going to double click. And if you double click, you have nothing down at the bottom of your chart, but that's getting ready to change. So go to indicators and type in QQE. And you're going to have and space MOD. QQE mod right here by that same person that did the SSL Hybrid. And you're just going to start to put in your favorites. Click on it one time and it will appear on your chart. And it will be this one right here. This will be the QQE mod. This is what it looks like. If you're taking notes, go ahead and take them now because I'm going to tell you a little bit about the QQE mod and some things to keep in mind when you're working on your algorithm. Now, as you can see, this is a 0, 0 line. This line is lined up with the 0.00000 right here. Above the line, if you see the bars above the line, you are looking at bullish or buyers, bullish activity or buyers in the marketplace, and it will turn blue. When it goes below the line, it has flipped and officially trending. It's trending bearish and it's shorting or selling, right? And it'll turn this reddish pink color. Once it goes back up again, you're in a trend of buying. You're in a trend of selling, okay? As you can see, confirming on the chart. Officially, you're in the trend, right? And it's buying officially here. You're in a trend, right? This is basically what it's saying. Okay. Now, here's something to keep in mind. Whenever you see the blue bars and you can't see this signal line, this white line, it's a pretty strong trend. And you don't really want to go against that. Whenever you see this white line and there's space, it has pretty much hit this peak and it's going down. Well, now obviously sellers have stepped in and the trend has weakened. If you do enter into a sell, you want to make sure that you can see the signal line. At the very least, wait for confirmation of that. Okay? At the very least, wait for confirmation. I teach my students, if it's not the same color, just avoid it, right? If it's not the same color. Even though this is not a bad trade, and me personally, I would enter it because I know this is weakness, okay? So this is a sign of weakness, and as long as everything else lines up, I can enter this trade. But of course, I'm teaching the younger ones that just make sure it's the same color, okay? Because I know what I'm looking for, and the longer you trade, you'll be like, okay, I'm confident that I can take it here, but only if other things are lining up, right? So when it's gray, it definitely has weakened to the point where it's probably going to cross. And then when there's no color there, it's better than gray, meaning a stronger chance that it's going to flip. So here's an example of why I say you got to be careful here and make sure everything lines up, because the same is true on the flip side. Here, this is in a strong downtrend. Even though it weakened here, you can not see the line until this candle. This is a candle where you'll be able to see the line. Here's the candle here. So we had a pullback, okay? Now, you may say, okay, good. I see this weakness and I'm going to do what? I'm going to buy. But here's an example when it did not go long. It did not go in the opposite direction. It instead kept selling. And here's where it bought. So just because you see this exposure, just because you see this signal line does not mean it's automatically going to turn around. And that is just something to remember. Okay. Just remember that it doesn't mean it's automatically turning around. All right. Just wanted to bring that to you. But it does mean that there is some weakness there. As in here, there is weakness here, right? And it's weakness and it's going back to this. And then once it gets here and it flips, you're definitely in a better position. Okay? So that's the QQE mod. The next thing, and there I didn't change any settings. Everything is the same. I didn't change anything. The style, everything's the same. Okay, you can turn off those if you like. But everything's the same. Then let's get this last thing down here in your chart. Go to indicators and type in WADDAH. WADA space ATTAR space explosion. And then you're going to see V2 SHK. This is the one you want. Start and click once to add it to your chart. Now there is another thing that you could put on your chart instead, and it is something to way to combine. You'll see something else on my chart and you can combine this with it, but that's not what we're talking about at the moment. But I'll talk about this in another video. Now let's talk about the water attar. It will not come looking like this. It will come different, okay? And what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to change the colors to make it work. So to keep our colors in sync, we're going to go to settings, okay? Now, as far as the uptrend color, we're going to do something first. I apologize, guys. Go back to the QQE mod. And when you see what says QQE up, click on that. Just click on QQE up, color. Click on the color. Then what I want you to do is hit the plus and click add. Okay? And it will pop up down at the bottom. QQE down. Click on that. Click the plus and click add. And it too will pop up at the bottom. What do I mean? Now you are able to add it to your chart, those particular colors. Okay? So let's do that now. Go to the water attar, WAE, and click on settings. Now, where it says color 0, uptrend, click on that and turn it to that blue that you just added to the bottom of your chart. Okay? Keep and make sure it's at, you can put it at, let's put it at 50% so we'll be all in sync. So choose that blue and put it at 50%. Okay? Color 1, select that same blue and make sure it's all the way over at 100%. All right? Good. Almost there. Downtrend, you're going to click color 0. Then you're going to choose that pink color that you just added to your chart. Just that right there. And make sure it's 50%. All right? Excellent. Almost there. And this color, color 1, you're going to want to choose that same pinkish red color and you're going to make it 100%. I'm trying not to move too fast, trying not to confuse you. Now we're going to change the explosion line. This explosion line is the line that we want price to be above when price get above that line, it has exploded, right? So we want that explosion line to be a color we can see. I normally take it and I normally turn it yellow and I use white and I make it bright, right? 100% opacity. And then the dead zone, we do not want to trade when price is below this dead zone. I make yellow and I change the opacity to 100% and I actually make the thickness a little bit thicker. Now, hit OK, and your chart should look like mine. I'm going to zoom in. So down at the bottom of my chart, I'm able to hit the plus to zoom in. I'm also able to come over here to zoom in. You just grab that, grab an area, and you zoom in. All right, so now let's look at it. Let's see if our chart look alike. Let's go to the most recent day in my chart. A very, very easy to see day that its price is actually selling today, pushing down. This is March the 7th. So let's look at March the 4th. This is a Monday. This is a Friday. Your chart should look like this. The squiggly line should be way above this baseline. You have a dot there. You don't have a sell signal, so don't worry about that. But you do have a dot there. And everything should look, this right here should be above 0.17906. This one is at about 27.43871. And this price closed at 9. I'm looking at this number right here. This price closed at 0.93866. That's what this number says. Okay, so that's the candle that we're on. And if that's right and everything looks the same, I'm going to squeeze in. Your chart looks like mine. And now you're ready to go over the rules of the trade. So in the next video, I will actually go through the rules of the trade for you newbies, and it'll be everything you need to get started on trading with us and working on your algorithm. Thank you for your patience. I hope this wasn't too hard, because it's about as, I think it's challenging you to get. And from there, it's just about making that money, honey. All right, guys. Talk soon. See you in the classroom. Bye now.